Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Views from the Sideline. I'm here as always with Daniel, and this is a very exciting episode because after what has felt like forever, probably 3 months now, but it's felt way longer than that, the NBA is finally back. Um, I'm super excited. Daniel, how are you feeling right now?
Um, well, it's exciting. I'm a Raptors fan, so I'm very excited for the Raptors. So far we've done actually pretty good, although we had two losses. But overall, it's like there's so many new players on new teams, and then there's rookies, there's players developing. It feels like it's like every new season, but I think this season just feels more special with the amount of like drama, with the amount of new changes, with the returns of people from injuries like Kawhi and Jamal Murray. So it's really exciting just to see everybody back, and everyone looks different and better. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just really excited for this season. But I guess we can just jump right into it because there have been about a week of games gone by so far. And we can just go over a little bit of some of the major talking points so far in the season. So the first one, I seem like we were always talking about them. And in the past 2 seasons, we've only been talking about them in negative ways. The Los Angeles Lakers are 0-3 through 3 games with a loss to basically a blowout loss to the Warriors, a very close loss to the Clippers, and a very close loss to the Blazers just about 20 minutes ago. So they're 0-3, bottom of the Western Conference. Yeah, and we knew going into this season. I mean, it's funny. Don't get me wrong, it's funny, but like, it's also kind of sad because I feel like we shouldn't be wasting LeBron James's like twilight years at this point. I mean, we knew this team was not good. We knew they had no shooters. Didn't really add anybody in the offseason outside of Lonnie Walker for shooting and Juan Toscano Anderson. We knew that Russell Westbrook didn't fit with them, but they didn't move him. They didn't do anything to trade him. They wanted to keep their first round picks. Um, yeah, I don't know. And then still, like, I feel like this is kind of expected, right? Don't you think?
Yeah. Although you did bring in Lonnie Walker and then Kendrick Nunn, like you're not expected to like be better because I watched the Blazers, and although the Blazers went nuts and at the end and they went on like an 11-0 run, Damian Lillard hit like a clutch three and then Jeremy Grant hit a clutch bucket. Like based on like on paper, it looks like the Lakers are supposed to win pretty easily with like LeBron, AD, Russell Westbrook. But yeah, I don't know. The Lakers they're looking kind of weird because there's nothing like, no one there's not much like no one's really talking about him too much now. And like Russell Westbrook, like they benched him for the final play to shoot the ball, to make it, to win the game, but LeBron missed the fadeaway. So I don't know. It's the Lakers are looking a little weird for this season, but it's only the beginning. It's 3 games in. You can't really describe them in a certain way yet.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that, but also like, here's the thing. Good teams are supposed to be good, right?
Yeah.
So like if you're losing, okay, first of all, today, I mean, yes, they played well against the Clippers. They just couldn't hit a three for their life, so they lost. But and same thing with the Blazers, kind of similar story. But you are supposed to win some of these contested games if you're a good team. So if the Lakers can't ease out wins against like, the Blazers or the Clippers, or like even just winning one out of every three or so, then I can't really have any confidence that they're gonna be good later in the season because there's nothing that's gonna like Russell Westbrook is not gonna suddenly become an average 3-point shooter. Like the entire team is not gonna suddenly start making threes that they were missing earlier. Those changes like those don't really happen. So I just feel like personally, they're done. This season's just it's a wash right now. They got to trade Westbrook. They got to get some pieces around LeBron that can actually shoot. They got to manage AD's health better. Rest him every other game. I don't care what happens. That man has like no. He gets injured all the time. So I don't know. I just feel like it's just another season. It's like another season of disappointment.
Yeah. I think what the Lakers do is they gotta trade Russ, and then they have to. Honestly, it would be a good idea to just like not just have like a tank season and try to like tank for Victor Wembanyama. Honestly, if you get
Well, here's the
him,
here's the thing. Here's the thing,
uh,
Daniel. You know what's crazy? I would say that, but they don't even have their first round pick for this year. So they have nothing. Literally
yeah,
nothing.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I have no clue about the Lakers. Yeah, no clue what to do about the Lakers, but the Lakers need to figure out what's wrong so LeBron doesn't retire early.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. And also, I don't know. Kind of. Speaking of a team that the Lakers just did lose to a second ago, the Blazers. The Blazers are actually crazy this year. They're 3-0 right now. Damian Lillard has dropped over 40 points in his past two games. Um, they beat the Lakers, obviously. They beat the Suns in overtime. Both really close games. Dame went off, and then they beat the Kings. So I know we're only 3 games in, but really strong start for the Blazers so far. Any thoughts on that?
Jerami Grant's like really good for him. I mean, he's on my fantasy team, so like I can speak for that on that. But Jerami Grant, yeah, I mean, we saw him last year in Detroit. He was, he was. I mean, obviously, it wasn't good that he wasn't a bad team, so you couldn't really, you couldn't really say much about him because his team sucked. But he's on a good team. He and Dame are a good duo. I mean, you don't people have to think about like because the Blazers don't like they have decent depth. I mean, they have Nurkic, they have Anthony Simmons, they have Josh Hart. Um, they have plenty of good guys who can make a big impact. So
Yeah.
I remember we talked about it where if Dame is injured in one game, I mean now you have Jeremy Grant, you have all those guards who can like make an impact. So although it will be bad, I mean, and Damian Lillard scored 40 points in the last 2 games each. So I mean, it wouldn't be
Yeah.
good, but they're pretty good. They're going to be pretty good this year.
Yeah. I see them probably ending up seventh, sixth seed probably by the end of the year. I
Yes,
think
six,
around there
six or
is pretty
seven
good.
seed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but if Dame keeps playing like this, like he could seriously be MVP contention because they lost CJ. Yeah, they have some good pieces around them, but they're not expected to be like some crazy team. And if they end up like third seed, I would personally, and Damian Lillard is like playing really well, I would probably give them MVP.
yeah. Even speaking of CJ, I went to like the Hornets Pelicans game on Friday,
Oh, really?
and
That's so
yeah,
nice.
I mean, man, that team is crazy. I mean, Zion
The
is like
Pelicans?
yeah, like Zion's like treating like every single part like a baby. He's just like getting past them, like bodying them. Valanciunas dropped like 32 points, 20 rebounds, like something crazy. CJ McCollum played pretty well, and then Brandon Ingram, like his, I can tell like his go-to move is like his fadeaway. Like every
Yeah.
single time he does it, he just makes it and makes it and makes it. So there's no surprise that they destroyed the Nets. Practically they were destroying the Hornets until the Hornets made a little comeback, but then the Pelicans got away from them. So the Pelicans are 2-0. They're playing the Jazz today. And then they're
Easy
playing
win.
then they're playing actually speaking of Utah, Utah is actually not looking bad at all.
I mean, I guess. It's like really early though. Like,
It
you know what
is
I mean?
early, but Utah is 2-0. They beat the Timberwolves or the Timberwolves. They beat the Nuggets by 20. They beat the Timberwolves by 6. And looking at their
Yeah, Rudy Gobert
team,
could not take revenge.
yeah, looking at their team, I don't think their team is that bad. I just think there's no like star that stands out. They have Terry Horn Tucker, Jordan Clarkson, Colin Sexton, Malik Beasley, Nikhil Alexander Walker, Jared Vanderbilt, Mike Conley, Rudy Gay, Laurie Markkinen, who dunked on Rudy Gobert, Kelly Olynyk. So like
Yeah.
their team is not bad. I mean, I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's like 10 guys that like aren't bad at all. And then there's like a few rookies on their team who are young, but they can develop. So, the Hornets aren't the Hornets. The Jazz are not looking that bad. I mean, it's like early to say anything for any team right now, but so far the Jazz have actually surprised me a little bit.
Yeah, and another team that surprised me in a very negative way is the Philadelphia 76ers, who are also 0-3 right now, bottom of the Eastern Conference. Um, they yesterday, so first game they lost to the Celtics. It was kind of expected. We know how good the Celtics are. It was a pretty close game. That's fine. Same thing against the Bucks. They lost by 2. Okay, it's okay. But yesterday the Sixers dropped a game to the Spurs, um, losing 114 to 105. to a Spurs team that's just filled with young talent. Keldon Johnson, Jakob Poeltl, Devin Vassell, Trey Jones. Really, no veterans on that team. This is a team that's probably tanking for Victor Wembanyama, and the Sixers still found a way to lose. So I thought it was kind of funny that that they still haven't picked up their first win of the season.
I mean, this coming week, the Raptors are playing the Sixers 2 times, so we better not lose to them.
Yeah, well, it seems like the Raptors always lock up Joel Embiid, so they'll probably win.
Yeah, I hope so. Get revenge on him for that for the playoffs. But and then the
Yeah,
Raptors, Scotty Barnes sprained his ankle last night. But
yeah,
let's talk about the Raptors a little bit. So the opening night would be Donovan Mitchell and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Good win,
yeah.
statement
Good
win,
stuff.
to start the season out. We lose to the Nets by 3 because because yeah, we don't talk about our defense from that last possession, but we were down by 1. Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving was bringing the ball out. He was guarding by Precious Achiuwa, which is a good matchup because Achiuwa has been one of our best players so far, and Siakam with already a triple double. So
Yeah,
he guarded, and then Van Vliet decides to go double team him, passes it wide open to Royce O'Neal, and Royce O'Neal drains the 3 to win the game. But then we lose to the Heat by 3, and we were down by 28, and we came back to even it out almost, and then fell. So although we lost both times, we're moving the ball much better. Siakam is really good. He's averaging 28 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists, almost triple double on the season. So he's definitely proving himself, and he had a goal of being a top 5 player in the year, a top 5 player in the NBA at the beginning of the year. So he's looking like he's doing that. And Fred VanVleet is struggling with shooting, but that can easily be resolved. And then Achiuwa has been one of our best 3-point shooters, even though he's a center, which is very surprising to me. Yeah, that's all I have so far for the Raptors. That's my report.
yeah. The Raptors are interesting, like very interesting situation because I feel like if Siakam has a breakout year this year, they're going to be really, really good. You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying top 5, but if he's like playing like a top 10 player in the NBA, that team could easily be a top 4 seed in the East just because of Nick Nurse is such a good coach. They have such a good like core in Siakam and Van Vliet, and then they surround them with really tough, gritty defensive players, and who are also balanced on the offensive end. So like, I think the Raptors they have like the potential to be very, very good, and it really just depends on like their star power. How good is Siakam going to be? How good is Van Vliet going to be? But Siakam he played really well in that Nets game. Like even though they lost that game, that was a great game for him. So I'm definitely liking what I see from Siakam and the Raptors in general. They're 1-2 right now, but they should probably even things out as the season continues.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in terms of the other teams, I mean, the Celtics and the Bucks haven't surprised me. The Hawks are pretty good so far. The Wizards are 2-0 actually. But then you also have so the Magic are 0-3, not a surprise there. Uh, you have
Well, Paolo Banchero is actually not that bad. He had a good first debut.
Banchero's good. Yeah, Banchero scored like 30
Yeah,
points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. The first player
in his
to like
debate in his debut, most
yeah,
most points since LeBron James for
yeah.
number 1 overall pick or
In your
rookie, I
debut,
think.
like first person to drop 35 and 5 since LeBron or something like that.
Yeah, he's
Um,
he's he's really good. He's the real deal.
yeah. I mean, the Hornets are actually up 17 against the Hawks, which is surprising. But since considering that Omel was out, and yesterday I was or Friday I was walking to the Hornets game, and then like near the Hornets stadium, like at the Hornets stadium, they have like a open window where you can see their practice facility that's like technically in their stadium. And Omel was like
Yeah.
practicing there. So, Omel was he wasn't looking that bad. I mean, he got injured in the preseason with a grade 2 ankle sprain. So
Mhm.
he's been out for a couple weeks, but he was looking good. He was moving well. So hopefully he's back soon. And although I think Van Vliet's better than Lamelo, I mean, I still have respect for Charlotte. I mean, I don't want to hate the hometown team, but even the Magic, like the Celtics beat the Magic by 6 points yesterday. So I mean, that was a close game. You had Terrence Ross with 29 points. Jason Tatum dropped like 100 points, meaning by 40. But the Pistons got a win. Wow, I'm impressed. But the Pistons have more wins than the Sixers, which is really sad.
And the
Then
Lakers.
yeah, but the
And they have as
Bulls,
many wins as the Raptors, actually.
you don't have to, you don't have to make that comparison. But you know, the Cavs. I mean, lost to the Raptors obviously. Although Donovan Mitchell played really good for his debut. Then the Cavs beat the Bulls by 30, which is absolutely atrocious. Donovan Mitchell dropped 32 points. I can't read stats. 6 rebounds. No, 9 rebounds, 8 assists. So almost a triple double there. And then the Cavs have so much depth in their team. With but does Evan Mobley's brother apparently plays for the Cavs.
Yeah, both the Mobleys are in the Cavs now.
Yeah. And then the
I
Bulls
thought,
are looking kind. The Bulls are kind of. I mean, Levine came back for his first game of the season yesterday, but looking at their team, I mean, I'm probably going to expect a little bit more of them because they have DeMar DeRozan, Patrick Williams, like Vucevic, Levine, Kobe White,
yeah,
Andre Drummond, who they got, they got Goran Dragic, they still have Alex Caruso, Derek Jones Jr. So, on paper, that team looks really, really good. So they have to like sort of, they have to really show that they're good. I mean, so far the Bulls are not. I mean, I think they.
yeah. I
I
feel like it
think
comes down to star power for a lot of these teams. Like it's like how well
yeah.
are DeRozan and Levine going to perform? I mean, for the Lakers, it's going to be like their depth, but for most teams, like the Raptors, the Bulls, the Cavs, all these teams that are like built well around their star players, it really just depends on like how are their stars going to perform on a nightly basis.
Yeah, and the Bulls are playing the Celtics tomorrow, so that's going to be another tough one.
I feel like there's so many good matchups right now, right? Don't you
Oh yeah,
think?
the
Like in
the
these
Raptors
this opening 2 weeks.
opening 2 weeks crazy. Yeah, the Raptors
Yeah.
have the toughest schedule in the NBA though.
I think it's Lakers are number two also. Like so, I mean, the Raptors I think will win games. Lakers, I don't know if they'll win any games in their first 10.
Yeah, but
It's
Lakers
not looking
are
good.
like the Raptors got we had the Cavs, we had the Nets. Now we have the Heat 2 times. We lost the first one. We're playing them tomorrow night, looking to win that one. Then we have the Sixers 2 times. We have the Hawks. Okay, then we have the Spurs, who hopefully we should be able to take care of. And then we have, so the first like 6 or 7 games, not just for the Raptors, but for like a lot of teams, there are a lot of really good matchups. And I mean, I'm sure for some teams it's not good for them because starting off bad is not always what teams want. But the Raptors started off
Yeah.
0 the Raptors started off 0-8 last year, so I'm not complaining at all. We have a win, so that's good. But
Yeah.
I don't know about Scotty Barnes. I mean that injury isn't gonna go well with us. I mean,
Yeah.
Scotty Barnes did it's sprained. I mean, hopefully he's not out for a while. I mean, but and the
I think
rest of the league.
it'll be interesting for Scotty also like to see like how he like not just because of injury, but like because so a lot of times there's like a sophomore slump where like the rookie of the years are like really they have like a slightly down year in their second season. I want to see if that happens with Scotty Barnes.
It's not gonna happen, Scotty Barnes. Scotty.
Okay, it won't happen
That's
though.
not. It won't happen.
It won't
But
happen.
yeah. I mean, Miles Turner's out with an injury. Darius Garland. He had a pretty weird. I mean, I don't think it was bad, but he had a pretty nasty injury against the Raptors in the third quarter. Gary Trent accidentally poked him in the eye with his pinky, and it was like a cut inside his eyelid. It was bad, and it was like swollen and everything. So, yeah, but I mean, so far, I mean, yeah, I mean, Danny Green joined ESPN as a part-time analyst, and I didn't even realize Danny Green was on the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah, I forgot Danny Green was last with the Sixers, right?
Yeah.
That was his last team.
Then like the
I
Lakers,
don't.
the Raptors, the Spurs, like it was like on every team in the NBA.
He was at the Spurs for a long time. Then he went to the Lakers. No, went to the
No,
Raptors, then the
no,
Lakers,
yeah.
and then he went to the Sixers after that.
Yeah, and that's in the Grizzlies.
And now he's
So
in the Grizzlies. Interesting.
the Grizzlies. I mean, I watched. I mean, on social media, I always get like the highlights for all the games, and then like I saw them versus the Knicks. I mean, John Morant looked like he was. I mean, he was obviously playing really good, but like they always like they're kind of like joking around. But then like the Knicks made the game go to overtime, and then the Grizzlies barely won in overtime. And then the Grizzlies lost to the Mavericks by 40. A 40 piece. That's a nasty
That
loss
was
right there.
crazy.
I didn't
I mean,
see it,
obviously it's one game, but it's like,
but John Moran had 20 points. Luka had like 40. Man, and then the Suns beat the Mavericks, and I saw like some of the people that I follow on Instagram are Suns fans, and they're posting stories like, "Yeah, that's revenge right there." Like, bro, it's the second game of the season. You got to chill.
literally, yeah.
Yeah, I
I mean, I
mean,
think I think if I looked at the standings right now and I could be like, what's gonna change the most? I think the Lakers will be like 10th seed-ish. I think that the Blazers are gonna drop. I think the Jazz are 100% gonna drop. The Hawks are definitely gonna drop. The Sixers and Heat are definitely gonna move up a little more. Maybe the Raptors too. I don't know about the Raptors. We'll see. um,
the 12th
and
seed. Are you serious right now? We are
yeah, right now
not.
they're tied the 12th seed.
We're
Well, they
not
could
going
be
to be.
ninth too.
We're not going to be the ninth
Never
seed.
know.
We'll be the
Never know.
sixth seed. If we're the sixth seed or the seventh seed, like yeah, I'll be happy if we're the seventh seed or higher. But it's gonna be tough. So
The Celtics are 100% the best team in the NBA right now, though. I think.
that's debatable. I'm not saying I have a team that I think is better, but that's debatable. The Warriors. I mean, everyone's saying the Warriors. The Warriors lost to the Nuggets.
Yeah,
The
that was
Cavs. Like
interesting.
okay, honestly, if I'm being 100% honest with you, I think I don't know if they're the best team right now, but one of the arguably the best team in the NBA right now is the Pelicans. The Pelicans
I can see
don't.
that.
The Pelicans. I'm not saying they're gonna be the best team. I'm not saying they're gonna be number one in the West. A very. That's a very like. That's just a dumb
Bold claim.
statement. Yeah, you don't know if that's gonna happen or not. But the Pelicans, like, I'm not saying that just because I watched them in the Hornets game, but I watched them against the Nets. I mean, the return of Zion really fueled their momentum, and they've gone crazy. I mean, McCollum, although he had a little bit of a slump in his like last couple months with Portland. I mean, Brandon Ingram and Zion and CJ are a nasty trio. And honestly, if you want to sub in trio or CJ for Jonas Valanciunas as the three in their trio, it's an insane trio. And then you have some guys that you've never heard of, like Herbert Jones or what's that kid's name? I'm looking at him. Jose Alvarado, Trey Murphy the third. Like in the game that I was, Trey Murphy was knocking down like 5 3s, something like that. Jose Alvarado was doing this little from behind steal like he always did, and I was trying to scream to Mason Plumlee to not be stupid and up behind you when you're dribbling. And then Mason Plumlee was so weird. Like Mason Plumlee shot a ball with his left hand, and he's a righty, and we were down by like 20. And I don't know if he did it on purpose. It was so weird. Like
Yeah.
he randomly shot his like he shoots righty just like normally, right? And then he just went
Mhm.
randomly on like a ball, and he just shot with his left hand, and he made it. It was so funny. Like for some reason, he just randomly did it. But then they have Larry Nance Jr., who was a really good player inside the paint. They have Jackson Hayes. Don't forget about him. I mean, known for his dunking, obviously. Willie Hernan Gomez, who was really good in terms of rebounding. So Pelicans. I think the reason why I think they're going to be really really good this year is because one, you can really see their stars in Zion and Brandon Ingram. Then they have a lot of depth in their bench and in their starters as well. And they have a lot of they have depth in every area. They have depth in shooting, they have depth in rebounding, passing, and they move the ball well. And that's honestly not non-biased. I mean, that's something that the Raptors really improved this year. Because a
Yeah.
lot, you can always see the star players having the ball more than others. Not passing, trying to go more one-on-one mode. But passing the ball, honestly, I think that's like the difference between like a good team and a great team is like passing the ball and rebounding. The things that don't involve scoring and like defense, like I forgot who said it. Someone said defense wins championships, and honestly, I believe that because good defensive possessions turn into good offensive possessions. So that's
Yeah.
why I think that the Pelicans are going to be really, really good this year.
Yeah. I think okay. Here's the thing about the Pelicans. I think they'll be good if Zion is healthy. And I
Yeah,
think
if
Zion
Zion,
is,
yeah,
His
of course.
obviously, actually, I think we'll ignore injuries. We're just gonna assume everybody's healthy. I think Pelicans will easily be one of the best teams, but I think another really sneaky team is gonna be the Clippers. I think the Clippers are going to be very good this year because Kawhi's gonna come back. He's gonna have an amazing year as always. Paul George is there. They added John Wall to the mix. They have Reggie Jackson, Nick Batum. Their team is already quite deep. And adding John Wall, I think, will be that final piece that they need to be like a championship contender and be one that's there in the playoffs. Because John Wall will be great as he's not good as the main guy. He's not you're not going to win a championship with John Wall as your main guy. But John Wall in that like third role where he's going to be just facilitating the ball and kind of taking a step back, getting his shots when Kawhi and Paul George feed him. Um, I think that is going to be very helpful to them.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, the I'm stuttering. I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh my god. The Clippers. Yeah. I mean, obviously we had, like you said about Kawhi coming back. I mean, you had Kawhi sit out on the bench. Just wait, why did he sit on? Why did he come off the bench in those first couple games?
Just like a minutes restriction. He only played like 18 minutes per game, really.
Yeah,
So
something like that. Yeah. So I think when he comes back to full strength, and he scored like what 15? He scored like 15 points in 18 minutes, which is good. So
yeah,
if he really comes
he
back
had
to
the game winner
form,
too for the Lakers game. He had the game winner,
yeah. So I
basically.
mean, I love Kawhi's game winners. I mean, we remember the
Yeah.
the, the famous one. But the Clippers have Kawhi, like you said, all those other guys. They have Reggie Jackson, John Wall. I mean, they have a lot of guys who can Terrence Mann. We saw a really big glimpse of him. We have the former Raptor himself, Norman Powell. But in all seriousness, like Norman Powell is really good. I mean, this year, he's averaging 12 points per game, but it's only been the first few games. But I remember last year that he averaged like 22, 23 points per game for this team, for the Clippers.
Yeah.
And then their coaching staff, I mean, you have Tyronn Lue as the head coach, Larry Drew, who's the former Cavs coach, as their assistant coach. So, yeah. And then also one thing that I noticed from watching a few of the NBA games this year, I mean, shoot, the Chiefs won. But anyways, from the first few games, you've had bench some players coming off the bench playing like starter minutes. I mean, I remember yesterday, the Raptors were playing against the Heat, and I think it was either Tyler Hero or it was Gabe Vincent. Oh,
It's
it was
probably Tyler Hero.
Max Strus. Max Strus. It was Max Strus.
Oh,
So Max Strus played like 38 minutes per game, or 38 minutes in that game, and that's like starter
mhm.
minutes because he was just so effective. So I've kind of seen the pattern of like if you have somebody who comes off the bench and he's like super effective, then the coach is going to put him in for more minutes. And it could be effective. I mean, it wouldn't be good to have the starter out. Like I think today in the Lakers game, in that final possession where LeBron missed the shot. I mean, I think Russell Westbrook is one of the clutchest players in the game right now. So, with this really, really famous game winner. So honestly, I'm confused why they was so like he's not gonna shoot the ball and it's gonna go over the backboard into the stands. Like he's not bad.
Yeah.
Like so, yeah, he's like he may not be good at shooting, or he's in a slump, but he can score game winners. He can be one of those like there's like a phrase for it, but like take the ball off the inbound pass and just shoot it, like stop and shoot. I forgot, but yeah, like full trust. Like this year, full trust. Like trust and passing the ball. Like passing the ball and trust are related because the star player needs to like trust everybody else in the team to make plays. Like Damian, like after the Blazers game, Damian Lillard had a post game interview and he was talking that he gave full trust in Jeremy Grant to like have that final position where he would go. He went over LeBron and AD and scored a layup, which was a tough layup. So Damian Lillard's the trust is important. That's why we're going to develop. So we have some
Yeah.
firsthand. We have some trust from Damian Lillard that what I'm saying is true. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I think. I mean, that's kind of long, but
Yeah. I think it's just a very exciting season. I really personally I want the Lakers to be a little bit better. I want the Sixers to be good because I think it'll just create more interesting matchups. I think it's more interesting to see the star players like LeBron, Embiid, not sit in the 12th, 11th seed, but close to the top of the league. So hopefully those two teams can get better. But there's so much exciting stuff to go on in this NBA. It's like it's such a different league from last year. Um, Free agency was absolutely crazy. We're gonna see, and it's not even like just watching the top teams, right? We watched those 8 playoff teams, and both conferences can be really competitive to see who gets in. But like the bottom teams are also gonna be interesting because it's like who's gonna get what Victor Wembanyama, who's gonna get Scoot Henderson. Like these types of questions are all gonna be asked. So I think it's the league as a whole is just gonna be so exciting to look at from top to bottom this year.
Yeah, I mean, from the like, this is like one of the first seasons where I'm actually like viewing the rookies or the future rookies, like Victor Wembanyama. Like I'm watching his highlights, like, and I paid attention to him before this season, and he's gonna get drafted next season.
Yeah,
So, but Victor Wembanyama, he's crazy. So he's definitely I wouldn't be like
yeah.
he's def I'll be surprised if we didn't go number one. Although Scoot Henderson is really good, but Victor Wembanyama is absolutely insane, especially for his height, how he can move. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all right, guys. I think it's going to wrap up the podcast today. We appreciate you guys watching today, and make sure to subscribe and like the video, and comment down below, what y'all think of the NBA season, and if you guys have any recommendations for any future videos, just let us know. We'll have an episode next week as usual. So apologies for the long break and delay. But with that being said, me and Nate can see you guys in the next episode.